people that are walking down the ramp, it's very common for the CTs to walk down the ramp while it's smoked and get down on the close part. That way a teammate can flash them in to take ramp. You'll see this all the time at every single level, and if you throw this nade at the right timing, it could get you a couple of free kills. There's a very sneaky position on B ramp of Vertigo that most people don't know about. Now you might think that I'm about to tell you about a spot that's right here underneath the grate here where you can't see. You might think that I'm going to tell you about behind this pillar, but no, it's actually behind this box, and you might be super confused. You're like, where do you even hide behind this box? It's not even that big to hide. But wait a minute. Are you telling me that you can crouch and hide behind this box and not get spotted from ramp? And yes, I am. It is a very strong spot that most people don't know about, and it's very hard to get seen from. They have to come all the way out to here to see you, and by the time that they're here, most of the time, you can actually see them as well. So it's actually a very strong spot. If you ever want to hide here, if you know that they like to play aggressive, you can wait for them to come all the way out to the wood wall and then catch them. If they try to jump up on top of the danger wall, of course, you have that advantage there. And yeah, this spot is a very good spot, and I almost think nobody knows about this. I would actually go as far as to say I guarantee nobody has ever seen this before. It's a very strong spot. If you want to go beyond Vertigo, let me show you if you can wait for them to be. Are you telling me that you can crouch and hide behind this box and not get spotted from ramp? And yes, I am. It is a very strong spot that most people don't know about, and it's very hard to get seen from. They have to come all the way out to here to see you, and by the time that they're here, most of the time, you can actually see them as well. So it's actually a very strong spot. If you ever want to hide here, if you know that they like to play aggressive, you can wait for them to come all the way out to the wood wall and then catch them. If they try to jump up on top of the danger wall, of course, you have that advantage there. And yeah, this spot is a very good spot, and I almost think nobody knows about this. I would actually go as far as to say I guarantee nobody has ever seen this before. It's a very strong spot. If you want to go beyond Vertigo, let me show you a really cool utility set that you can throw for your teammates, and it's super easy. It's a smoke for right side and left side generator, along with a Molotov and a God Flash. All you're going to have to do is out of spawn,
there's left in this fucking.
Once you have this, you're going to ask a kind teammate to drop you a smoke in this corner, and once he does that, you're going to crouch and you're going to aim right here for the right side generator smoke. And once you have your crosshair, you're going to stand, not move it, and left click. Then you're going to pick up that smoke that your teammate dropped you, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to crouch and aim at this black dot. It's going to be harder to see, so I zoomed it in as best I could. And you're going to do the same thing, stand, not move your crosshair, and left click though, and you're going to get a right and a left side generator smoke. Now these are of course very strong for taking the site, but we can combine that with a Molotov and a God Flash. Let's show it really quick. If you aim at the top of this yellow part, you can actually left click though and get the Molotov for default. If anybody's playing here, they'll get burned into the open. And of course the God Flash is just at the same spot as well. Pops in front, blind, and you're going to get a right and a left side. And it's super easy. It's a smoke for right side and left side generator, along with a Molotov and a God Flash. All you're going to have to do is out of spawn, you're going to take under B, and once you have this, you're going to ask a kind teammate to drop you a smoke in this corner, and once he does that, you're going to crouch and you're going to aim right here for the right side generator smoke. And once you have your crosshair, you're going to stand, not move it, and left click. Then you're going to pick up that smoke that your teammate dropped you, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to crouch and aim at this black dot. It's going to be harder to see, so I zoomed it in as best I could. And you're going to do the same thing, stand, not move your crosshair, and left click though, and you're going to get a right and a left side generator smoke. Now these are of course very strong for taking the site, but we can combine that with a Molotov and a God Flash. Let's show it really quick. If you aim at the top of this yellow part, you can actually left click though and get the Molotov for default. If anybody's playing here, they'll get burned into the open. And of course the God Flash is just at the same spot as well. Pops in front, blinds everybody for your teammates to scale. Easy. Let me show you two of the strongest boosts on Vertigo T site, and let's start off with the wire boost. Everybody's probably been doing this wrong for as long as I can remember, so let me show you the correct way to do it. Now, if you ever want a wire boost, the person that's going to get boosted needs to go up onto the tall part here. Now, after that, the person who's going to do the boosting is going to be on the part that's in the middle here, and once he stands there, the person that's on the higher part can actually jump from on top of it to their head. If I could figure out how to no clip, it would look like this, and then you would be able to peek towards default. And the best part about this one is that after you get a kill, you can jump up and then take the space that you're given. Now, the next boost is actually the boost that goes towards the danger wood here, just that the person that's going to do the boosting just stands on this generator like this on the wall, on this close part here. Then you can actually jump from on top of the wood pallets to their head, and then you can jump back over, and it's only 2 jumps this time for you to get to the danger wood. Incendiary grenades were changed in the most recent CS2 update, and on screen right now you have a visual of the difference between an incendiary and a Molotov. Let me show you the new incendiary incendiary. It costs $500, and whenever you throw it, you are going to see blue flames around it so that you can know that that's incendiary instead of a Molotov. Now, of course, the main difference is being that this is significantly smaller than the Molotov, and it only lasts 5.5 seconds, whereas a normal Molotov will last 7 seconds. So if we throw this one molly right here and we grab this Molotov and we can go up really high so we can see the difference between the sizes, this is what a normal incendiary will cover. And if we throw a Molotov, as you can see, it is just significantly bigger. So the next time you're playing CS and you see a Molotov and an incendiary on the ground, maybe you should go with the Molotov because it's just better now. One of the best spots in CSGO Inferno was to play behind default here behind the wall, because it was really good to catch Halls pops because you could dodge the flashes and catch people as they were jumping out. And if they were coming up lane, most of the time they were coming in and checking cold first before they check back default, so you could at least get almost one every single time. But the problem is that this spot has been nerfed in this map, because now if you want to play there, all it takes is a couple bullets from the person coming up lane to completely neutralize this position, and it's very strong. Like, I've gotten a lot of kills on people that are just standing here because they think that they're safe, and it really just is a free kill. Now, it doesn't even get any better if you were to crouch, because you could still spam them crouched as well. The only thing would be is that you need to spam a little bit lower. Just be careful when you're playing this spot, and if you're coming up lane, make sure you shoot a few bullets in here. You never know, you might catch a dink, you might even get a kill. Historically, the most dangerous Molotov to throw on Inferno was the pit Molotov, because you had to be in the open to throw it, and what would happen is basically every time you were throwing this Molotov, either the person pit would just outright peek you, or you would get peeked by somebody on top of the balcony, or somebody backside would peek you. I think you're getting the point. It was a dangerous Molotov to throw. So with that being said, it still should be, right? Well, it's actually not, because in CS2 they've tweaked the map just enough to where you can actually throw this Molotov without ever exposing yourself, and it's definitely a must-know. So here it is. So first things first is when we're ready to go on the site, we're going to make sure nobody's standing on balcony, because that's the only angle that we can be seen from now. And once we figure that out, we're going to pull out our Molotov and we're going to look for this rock that we see right here. Now, once we find this rock, it's going to run and jump though. Now, what's going to happen is the Molotov is going to bounce off of this new conveniently angled wall, and it will land in the pit. And of course, the pit player will never see you at all. One of the important smokes that you might need is a moto smoke. So I want to quickly show you the easiest moto smoke that I know, which is from right here in mid. If you line up on the part of the garage door like this, and then you aim in the bottom box of this flower pot and give it a left click throw, you will have a very simple moto smoke. As you can see, the smoke will bounce a few times, but it will land a perfectly smoke off moto. In CS2, they've added this new skill jump that you can do, and probably almost everybody can do, because it's, well, a lot easier. And if you're a movement guy like myself, you can do it a little bit faster, because if you can actually jump from on top of the truck onto here with a nice little skill crouch jump, and then you can go up on top of the boost. This only saves a little bit of time, but it could make a difference, especially if you're trying to do this in the middle of a round and you don't want to make a bunch of noise. You can easily get up here and play this off angle, and you can obviously still make the jump over here just like you would before. So go ahead and try that out. It takes a little bit of practice, but once you get it, I'm pretty sure you could do it every time. They actually added a really cool new cubby in the archway here, but you probably already knew that, so let me blow your mind. If you have an arch smoke down, you can actually get a teammate to get into this cubby, and you can boost on his head, and when the arch smoke eventually goes away, you have a really good angle to hold for people that are coming towards arch. Now, I don't have the ability to place a bot, but let's just imagine that you have somebody standing to the left of this flower pot. What can happen is people will come around here expecting to peek mid, and you're shooting them from up here. It's a really cool off angle, and it's pretty much guaranteed to get you a kill, especially since this is a new angle in Inferno, and a lot of people aren't going to be expecting this. Let me show you the new arch smoke that you're going to want to throw. So now that it's a lot easier to do, and it's pretty straightforward. So all you're going to do is you're going to come here when you're ready to smoke off arch, and you're going to line up on the left side of this window here. You're going to find your crosshair on the top right of this garage door, and then you're just going to jump throw. Wouldn't you know it, just like it used to be in CSGO, a super easy arch smoke, and of course it lands very deep, but with CS2 smokes, it's perfect, and nothing really out of the ordinary here. It lets you lurk into that cubby just like the other one did. It actually smokes out this cubby completely. So yeah, a cool little arch smoke. If you want to take banana, it can seem a little overwhelming, but let me show you a really cool utility set that you can throw with one friend that'll pretty much guarantee that you have a chance every round, and it's really easy. So out of spawn, you're going to run over here like this, and you're going to look for this window as you're running, this one right here, and you're going to throw a smoke as soon as you can see the window, but you're not finished, because before you're done, you're going to get stuck on the corner here, and you're going to look for this light to the the right of that pipe there. Now I did zoom it in to make it a little bit easier. You should probably practice this as well before you try it in a game, but once you find that light, you're gonna left click, and this smolly is gonna land and perfectly cover off both of the sides, and it leaves no positions for the tees to play without smoking themselves off. Now this is a really cool piece of utility that you could throw. What you can do is you can have your teammate throw this one flash right here, where they jump throw it off of the wall, and it's gonna land up there, so anybody that's coming into banana is gonna get blind by this flash, and of course, since you're swinging with it, it won't blind you. They really have nowhere that they can play. If you want to be a support player on Inferno, you might find yourself throwing the traditional God Flash on your B executes, but the problem with this flash is that if your teammates don't understand what's happening, this flash is very likely to blind people because they think that you're throwing a good flash that won't blind them if they're coming in, but in reality, the God Flash is a flash that blinds every angle, but your team is supposed to dodge it as it pops, and then they peek when it's unpopped. But there's actually been a new God Flash that's been discovered in Pro Play, and you can try it out here. This one's actually perfect to blind your teammates. So when you're ready to execute the B site, you're just going to find yourself in front of the half wall here. You're going to look for this bottom window, and then you're just going to left click. Now the thing is that this flash is going to go ahead and land in CT spawn, and it completely blinds every single angle on the B site. And the benefit is that as your teammates are coming in looking at the B site, it just pops behind this wall, so they won't even get blinded at all. And it's really, really good. And of course, the flash will blind everything. Just make sure that you know that coffins will need to be smoked because the flash actually will not blind the coffin angle, but other than that, you should be fine. Have you ever had somebody tell you that the other team can hear when you switch weapons in CS2? Well, if you have, you're not alone, because thousands upon thousands of people have heard this myth before, but the real question is it true? Some people will swear on their life that they've heard somebody switch weapons in-game, but unfortunately that just isn't true. And to prove that, I actually got one of my friends to go into a server with me just to switch his guns, and as you can hear if I shut up, you can't hear when he switches weapons. But again, some people will still say, I've definitely heard this before. And to those, I would like to say that there is actually a chance that you've heard it before if you've ever watched a professional game. Because right now there's currently a bug in CS2 that allows anybody that's watching from GoTV to actually hear everything that a player can hear, including the way that their knife flips around in their hand when they're inspecting it, or even switching guns. But you can very quickly find out that if you could hear all of these things from a player's perspective, things would be kind of chaotic. I mean, just listen to this round with it on. I want to show you an angle in CS2 that I think is actually unfair, and it's on Nuke here on a site. Now, a lot of people stand on top of these silos to jump to top a hut at the beginning of the round, but if you ever wanted to switch things up, you can actually stand on top of this silo right here and look into hut. What this will do is this will give you probably the most unfair angle in the game. When people come into hut, most of the time they're going to peek back sight. And if they don't peek back sight, you know, maybe they're going to peek towards heaven, maybe they even walk up. But as you can see, all of those angles that I just peeked, you could not see the person on top of silo. And as a reminder, if I just go here and peek this angle and place the bot from top of silo, I can see that person very clearly. If I remove this bot and take his spot, I can actually see very, very clearly and very easily. It's going to do quite a bit of damage. I think this angle is unfair. If you use the spot to hold A, you'll have a really good time. If you're worried about being exposed to door or mini, well, you obviously have teammates for that. If you ever want to rush A on Nuke, you might need to know some fast utility that you can use to support your teammates. Let me show you two utility sets that you should probably know both of. So let's start with the first one, which is obviously the util that you're going to throw from the roof. So at the beginning of the round, you're going to run up the ladder as fast as you can and make sure these windows are broken, by the way, when you're running out of spawn. You're going to look for this white line right here in line with this part of the window. You'll kind of be able to get a feeling for it the more you practice it. Then you're just going to run and jump throw. Then after that, you're going to back up and you're going to throw two flashes just like the same exact way. And what's going to happen is you're going to get a top hut molotov as well as a good flash that will blind everybody. And the person that's in lobby is going to throw this set of utility, which is a nade for the door, because we want to blow the door up, it'll be closed, and then a smoke mini, and then a flash into mini. And with these two pieces of utility combined, we're going to get a top hut molly with god flashes that will let the people come out of hut, scale this way, and you're going to have a really good A rush. One of the most popular angles on all of Nuke is actually this angle right back here in garage. And you might be confused, Austin, this makes absolutely no sense. Why would I ever go here? I'm never going to see anyone. But you're actually wrong, and the reason that all pros like to play this spot is because they know that nobody's going to be able to wrap outside. And if they try to, they're going to have to fight back garage, which is exposed to mini, to heaven, to CT. You kind of get the idea. And the spot's incredibly safe. So at the beginning of the round, pros will sometimes just knife out all the way to this side, and they're just going to sit here and wait. And if you try to go into mini, you're going to get the kill late in the round after you don't see anyone. You also have really good fights because nobody's going to be expecting you to be garage that late in the round, and you can get a lot of free kills. And if you're worried about them wrapping heaven from top mini, your other teammates should be able to hear hear them. And if you're also worried about them going down secret, just make sure that you tell your teammates that they can go down secret, and it might let your opera start towards heaven, or maybe even another player can start lower. It's really good. All pros do it. One of the most important Molotovs on Ancient is this Molotov that lands towards pillar, and the reason it is because first of all, this is one of the strongest spots to hold from on B site, but second of all, if you want to take into cave with a teammate, this Molotov will actually stop the annoying operas that play in the entrance right here, because they either are going to have to leave or they're going to have to come inside and, well, deal with the T's that are coming in here and have nowhere to fall off. Now, in order to throw this Molotov, it's actually really easy, but a lot of people are missing it in CS2, and I'm not really sure if that's because they changed it or whatever, but it's super easy. You're going to come to the door on the right side here and line up against the handle. It's a super loose lineup, and just get on the corner. You're going to look for this part of the plant right here. Now, there's a bunch of leaves. There's the tall ones. You're going to look for the short one like this. You're going to line up like this and put your crosshair on the top part of it, and then just left click whenever you're ready. Molotov's going to come in here and land on the pillar just like you expect it to, and there you go. One of the most important mollies, easy peasy, never miss it again. Towards caves, there used to be a lot of really cheeky angles, but one of my favorite angles was there used to be a gap in the wood right here where you could see people through, but in a recent update, they've actually completely removed this, and now a lot of people used to use this to hold cave. They would play angles like this, because if somebody walked past the little slight pixel gap, you'd be able to see them either spam them, or you'd be able to pre-fire them, but this has been removed, so unfortunately for all of us cave nerds, there is no longer a way to have an advantage. However, you can still do the spams. There's a lot of ways to spam, and my personal favorite way is to line up right like this, in between the light and here, and just shoot at this part of the wood. Anyone down here is going to get absolutely obliterated, and people will probably type at you and call you a cheater, so try that out instead. Just make sure that you're safe from cave, whether that be this is smoked or this is mollied. Either one is fine. Go for the spam and let me know how it goes for you guys. Recently, there's been a Molotov that's been thrown against me on every single game of Ancient. You do it, it doesn't hit. Let me tell you the trick and why this Molotov is so good. So basically what's happening is that when you throw this Molotov off spawn, it actually beats the T's to this position, so they're either going to have to eat this damage when they run up to cave, or they're going to have to waste a smoke in order to do that, and then they'll tell you that they're coming. I mean, either way, they're giving you a sound cue that they're coming. The way you throw it is that out of spawn on CT side, you're going to run and you're going to look for this part right here of the wall, this blue, I don't know, this trim, like this is border, and when you find it, you're going to aim at it. You're going to hold both buttons, middle click, like we've always talked about, both buttons at the same time, left and right click, and you're going to aim at this and jump throw when you cross this part of the wall here on your left side of your screen. And when you do that, you're going to get a perfect Molotov that's going to land here, and it's going to be pretty easy for you to hold. So what you could do then is you can go towards cave, and if you hear them ticking, then you can be ready to fight. If you don't hear them ticking, you know they're not here, and you can go for some cool wall bangs and stuff, and you'll look like a pro. If you've been watching a lot of Pro CS, you might have noticed that on Ancient, this smoke gets thrown a lot on T side, and let me tell you why it's good, and then I'll show you how to throw it. So basically, with this smoke, what's happening is it's denying all of the info that the B player would get at the beginning of the round, so they're going to have to either go in front of the smoke, which is incredibly risky for them, or they're going to have to just give it up and let the T's do whatever they want. And obviously with this smoke, if you pair it with a Molotov, it can be extremely dangerous, because then all of the info that would previously be given to the CTs is now completely denied, and you can walk up ramp for free. So enough waffling, let me show you how to throw it, and while I do that, make sure you guys come check out my Twitch stream if you guys ever want to learn more. So you're going to line up right here on this brick like so. You're going to look for this one up here. It's on the bottom left right here like so, and then it is a tap W jump though, and if you do that out of spawn, you're going to go ahead and get this lurk smoke. And if you did learn something, make sure you guys follow the channel, and like I said, come check out a stream sometime if you want to learn more. If you're a mid player and you hear that your opera is going for a pick towards E-Box and you want to make sure that he wins the fight, you can throw a little flash for him that he doesn't even need to know about. So whenever he's ready to go for the peek, you're just going to right click running jump throw at the top of this window, and what's going to happen is anybody that's opping towards this staircase here is going to get completely blinded, and of course the player that's coming E-Box won't have to worry about this because it's popping so high in the air compared to where he's looking, and so he could actually get this kill on a full blind opper. So go ahead and throw this for your teammate if he's ever fighting E-Box. It works really well for riflers as well. Gives them an advantage on anybody peeking. Now there's a couple other flashes that people like to throw. For example, there was this one that was pretty meta for a long time, which is the one that bounces through this window. The problem with this one, I feel like, is that it makes a couple too many bounces, and it's very easy for this player to avoid if they were to be standing like here, for example, where the window is blocked. So it's not the best flash in the world. In CSGO, I made a video talking about how it was impossible to get out of the water on Anubis without making noise, but luckily, this has actually been changed a little bit. So let's talk about how water works in CS2. If you ever were to jump into the water, whether that's falling or actually jumping, you'll make a really loud splash, and it kind of sounds like this. Obviously, they can hear that all over the map, and they're going to have a pretty good idea of where you are. Now, previously, this would happen in CSGO, but what wouldn't happen is whenever you were jumping out of the water, you would make a splashing sound as well, which would make it really hard for you to be sneaky in the water. However, as you just noticed, I jumped out of the water without making noise. There is some exceptions to this though, because if you're moving when you jump out, you will sometimes make a weird splash sound, and also there is a chance, of course, if you're running when you jump out, you'll make another sound as well. So your best bet is to walk into the water on a slope and then also jump out without moving. And yeah, that's how you do water. It's pretty useful. You should probably know that. One of the most important smokes on Anubis is the E-Box smoke, and I've made a video on the original smoke, but there's actually a new lineup that is used. And for those of you guys that are confused, what is E-Box? You can call it whatever you want. If you call it Dark Cave, I'm not really sure what people in Europe call it, but in NA we call it E-Box, and that is because, of course, there is a big E-Box in here. Regardless, the smoke that I just showed you is really good because it gives you a little bit of a lurk smoke, which would let you play really good in pugs because you can step through here, and if anybody walks in, you'll have a little bit of an off angle. I would call it a one-way, but it's not really that. And also it lets you clear out all of E-Box without ever getting spotted from sight. So let me show you the lineup. As everybody probably wants to know, you're gonna line up right here in front of these phones, put your crosshair right here on the roof, and then jump throw. You're gonna get the smoke, it's gonna be perfect, and well, you know, it's exactly what I advertised. If I were to tell you that there's an angle that's so overpowered that even Hooksy can outduel players on the other team, would you believe me? Well, you should, because let me show you one of the most overpowered angles on Anubis Beast site. And like I said, I'm not lying, even Hooksy can get free kills with it. It's that good. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna find this spot right here, and now you're in the angle right here. This is the angle. What's so good about it is that you're actually in a pretty decent off angle, all things considered, and you're looking through this crack in the wall. Now the reason that this is so strong is, let me just place a bot here. Hold up, give me a second, and there we go. The reason it's so strong is that when you're peeking here, you actually can't hit their head, but the way the CS2 works in this game is that you can actually shoot right through here without any issue at all. So now if I go away, if I stand here, you can see I can just spam you, so you can't even really shoot me in the head, and I have pretty much full accuracy. Now you can do this with the op as well and make it even better, and I've actually seen a lot of operas do this, and they can get a pretty free kill, assuming that nobody ever flashes them. And yeah, let me show you a cool little pop flash that you could throw if they're executing the site. That'll get you a lot of kills. All you're gonna do is you're gonna find yourself in this back corner like so, find the top right of this orange triangle, and then you're gonna right click jump throw, and what's gonna happen is the flash is gonna pop conveniently over the wall, and it, of course, will not blind you, and if you peek, everybody that you're looking at will be blind. And let's go ahead and see what it looks like from the enemy's perspective. As you can see, they get to see it for a whole half a second, and they're gonna get completely blind. In CSGO, one of the most popular angles to play on Overpass was behind the tree at long, and the problem was is that the tree was completely wall bangable, and so if you were ever hiding behind here, in that version of Overpass, all they needed to do was take one shot at the tree, and if they heard you dink, then they knew you were there, and they could easily spam you. But one of the things that they did in this version of the map is that yeah, the tree is not wallbangable, which makes complete sense, by the way. I'm not upset about this, but it is an actual really good change because it lets you play behind the tree safely, and it gives you a lot more options. For example, you can hold really good off angles like this one, or you can hold off angles like this one here where you have a nice head glitch on people coming out. Gives you a little bit more options without having to worry about getting spammed. So go ahead and try this out on your next game of Overpass, and it might just get you a couple of kills. And if it does, make sure you guys follow the channel and, you know, share it with your friends or whatever.
Hey, what's up? Counter-Strike, I went from an absolute beginner to playing at Facet's highest rank while queuing 99% of my games solo. Solo queue can be an absolute nightmare. You'll constantly be matched with throwers, extremely toxic teammates, and people who just decide to leave. For a lot of players, this may prove to be too much and ultimately quit playing Counter-Strike altogether. I'm going to share with you everything you need to know in order to push past all the BS that happens in solo queue and achieve your elo goals. Welcome to the Ultimate Solo Queue Survival Guide. Before we get started, a quick word from today's sponsor.
That everyone dreams about. Make your dreams come true.
First need to understand results is that the best players in the professional scene are often playing the same roles. For instance, Dunk, Twist, Zentaris, Nico, and Rops, and also countless other high-level pro players are playing Connector on Mirage. Similar to this, these same players are playing mid on Ancient. These same players also have some of the highest HLTV ratings in the professional scene. Some of you may presume that this is happenstance, but I highly doubt that these tier 1 teams are just putting anyone in these spots. Rather, these teams are opting to put their best players in the most optimal positions to have the biggest impact that they can. With that said, we can leverage this information to help our solo queue journey by starting to learn how to play these spots. I don't recommend that you just queue up and start playing positions that you have no idea how to play, but rather begin with a little research and go from there. There are a ton of resources on YouTube where other high-level players dissect exactly how these players go about playing these spots. But honestly, in my opinion, the best way to learn these positions is to simply find their demos and start watching them. You can search up VODs from pro matches, or you can just go on Faceit, find their profile, and start downloading their demos. If you're confused on how to watch demos, I posted a video recently covering exactly how to do so. Link to that will be in the description. Another important concept to understand is impact kills. Depending on when and where you kill an enemy will influence how impactful it was. For instance, if you're grouped with your team and everyone decides to rush B, getting that entry kill for your team so they can
Bobby, what's happening, brother?
catch a timing on an A rotator while you lurk palace.
Actually, I just want to play CS at this point. This poker tournament's going on way too long.
Baiters, and they won't even take sight, let alone trade me. And to be honest, that's a fair point. But what I recommend to counteract this is to always be grouped with your team on T side. Regardless of what your team's objective is, even if it's not clear to begin with, simply being with your team as a fight breaks out to help influence the direction of the round is the single most impactful thing you can do as a team. Once you fully adopt this mentality, you'll quickly realize that being the most impactful player on a team doesn't always mean you'll have the most kills. Besides, I'd rather have 15 impactful kills in a win than 30 meaningless kills in a loss. Before we go any further, we need to talk about blackjack.
Fucking dude.
Trust me, this will make sense. There's a reason why blackjack, or otherwise known as 21, is one of the most popular games played around the world. Other than it being one of the more entertaining and straightforward yet complex table games, like all casino games, it's a game that the player is designed to lose. Even the most knowledgeable players that play the card will win approximately 49% of the time. With that said, the house, aka the casino, will win 51% of the time. This is what keeps the casino in business. The more hands you play, due to the law of averages, will result.
Alrighty then. $50,000 viewers of Counter-Strike? Ew.